You're staring at a bank balance that says $47,000, and you're 29 years old, and something in your chest just went cold. Not because it's a lot, because it's the most you've ever had, and you just did the math. At this rate, this exact rate, this salary, this life, you'll hit $1 million around the age of 94. You laugh out loud in your parked car, because it's either that or something worse, and the guy in the next spot glances over. You wave. You're fine. You're totally fine. Here's what nobody tells you about the middle. You didn't do anything wrong. You went to school. You got the job. You make $68,000 a year with a title that sounds important on LinkedIn and means almost nothing in your bank statement. You're not broke. That's the trap. Broke is loud. Broke forces a decision. Comfortable is silent. Comfortable lets you drift for 40 years and call it a life. And in that parking lot, for the first time, you feel the drift. You name it. You are perfectly on track to arrive nowhere. So you make a decision that sounds insane to everyone you'll never tell. You decide you're going to become a millionaire on this salary. This exact one. No inheritance coming. No startup. No rich uncle. No viral moment. No lottery ticket in your glove box. Just you, a Tuesday, and a paycheck that hits every other Friday at 9 in the morning. And I want you to remember that number, 47,000. Because we're going to watch it move. And the way it moves is the whole secret. The first thing you learn is that everyone told you the wrong story. They said the game is about income. Earn more, they said, like that's the lever. But you look around at the guys earning W, and they're leasing cars they can't afford and drowning in a bigger, prettier version of your exact panic. That's when the first real rule lands, and it lands hard. It was never about what comes in. It's about the gap, the distance between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is the only thing that ever built anything. Rich people don't have bigger incomes. They have bigger gaps, and they defend them like a border. So you go home and you do the ugly thing. You print out 90 days of transactions, and you sit at your kitchen table under that one flickering bulb you keep meaning to change, and you read every line like a detective reading a confession. And there it is, $410 a month leaking out in ways you cannot even remember agreeing to. Subscriptions for things you used twice. Food delivery with a fee, a service fee, a tip, and a sadness tax. A gym you drive past. You're not stupid. You were just never taught to look. Nobody profits from you looking. You don't go full monk. That's a fantasy that lasts 9 days. Instead, you rebuild one number, your savings rate, and you make it a game. Month 1, you claw it to 15%. You feel the resistance in your own hand as you move money out the second it lands. Before you can feel rich, before Friday you can spend it. You automate it. 9 in the morning, payday, and a machine you built quietly takes a slice off the top and hides it from you. This is the trick the calm people know. You don't rely on discipline. Discipline runs out by Wednesday. You build a system that works while you're asleep, so being good with money stops being a daily fight and becomes a thing that already happened. And now that 47,000 starts to breathe. Not fast. You have to understand how slow the beginning is, because the slowness is exactly where everyone quits. Month 2, 49. Month 4, 52. You're throwing money into a low-cost index fund, the boring one, the whole market one, the one no influencer sells because there's no commission in telling you to do the obvious thing. And it just sits there. Some months it drops. You watch 54,000 become 51,000 in a week, and your stomach does the elevator drop, and every cell in your body screams to pull it out, to save it, to be safe. You don't, because you learned the second rule, the one that separates the people who make it from the people who talk about it at parties. The market isn't a slot machine, it's a mood, and the whole system is engineered to shake out the nervous and reward the ones who can sit still through the fear. Sitting still, it turns out, is a skill. It's the hardest one. You practice it like a muscle. Red month, you buy anyway. The machine buys anyway. 9 in the morning, no feelings involved. By the end of year one, you look at the balance and it says 59,000, 12,000 added in a year on a 68,000 salary. And here's the part that keeps you up. Not in a bad way now. You run the math again, the same math from the parking lot. But this time, you don't get 94. This time, if the gap holds and the boring thing does the boring thing, it's done for 100 years. The number that comes back is a different number entirely. And you have to check it twice. Because it's the first time the word millionaire stops sounding like a joke about someone else. The number that comes back is 58. 58 years old, not 94. You cut 36 years off your sentence at a kitchen table with a flickering bulb, and you didn't earn a single extra dollar to do it. You just stopped leaking and started aiming. That night, you finally changed the bulb. It feels symbolic. It's also just a bulb. Both things are true, but 58 isn't the answer. It's the invitation. Because now you've felt the machine work, and you want to feed it more. And that hunger is the good kind. Quiet, patient, a little bit dangerous. So you go back to the two levers, the gap and the time, and you push on the one everyone's afraid to touch. The income. Not by leasing a personality, by becoming, slowly, worth more. You learn the boring truth about raises. Nobody hands them to the person who does the job. They hand them to the person who documents the job. So you start keeping a file, every problem you solved, every dollar you saved the company, every hour you gave back to someone above you. And when review season comes and your manager slides that same 3% cost of living bump across the table like it's a gift, you slide the file back. You ask for 11, you get 8. 8,000 more a year, and because your spending is frozen and your system already exists, 90% of that raise doesn't get spent. It gets swallowed by the machine at 9 in the morning every other Friday before you can even miss it. This is the thing the drift never lets you feel. A raise only builds wealth if it doesn't become a lifestyle. Most people's raises are just financing for a bigger cage. Year 3, the balance says 91,000. Year 4, you jump companies because loyalty pays in plaques and job hopping pays in dollars, and your salary lands at 89. Now the gap is enormous. You're saving 30%, then 35, and the number stops crawling and starts to walk. And somewhere in year 5, the strangest thing happens, the thing you were promised but never believed. The account grows more in a single good month than you put into it. The interest, earned interest. Your money, hired money. You stare at a statement that says your portfolio gained $9,000 in 30 days while you slept, while you commuted, while you sat in that same parking lot. You did nothing. The machine did everything. This is the moment compounding stops being a word on a slide and becomes a living thing you built with your own restraint. And the fear comes back, dressed up nicer this time. The market drops 20% in a spring. You watch 200,000 become 160 in 6 weeks, and every headline is screaming, and your coworker liquidates everything at the bottom and tells you he's being smart. You don't. You've been here. You know the mood always passes, and the ones who sell their future to feel safe for an afternoon are the ones who never make it back. You buy. Red month. The machine buys anyway. By fall, the number is higher than it ever was. Here's the insider secret nobody frames right. The first 100,000 is a brutal, thankless climb, all effort and no reward, and it feels like pushing a boulder that rolls back every night. But after that, the boulder starts rolling on its own. 200 comes faster than 100 did. 300 faster still. The hardest part is the part with the least payoff, which is exactly why almost everyone quits during it and swears the whole thing is a scam for people who started rich. You didn't start rich. You started with 47,000 and a cold feeling in a parked car, and then one ordinary Wednesday, not a birthday, not a bonus, nothing. You open the app the way you've opened it 10,000 times, half distracted, coffee going cold, and the number has a comma in a place it's never had one. 1,001,000 and change. You set the phone down. You don't cheer. There's no music. It's just you, a Tuesday's twin, And a paycheck that still hits every other Friday at 9 in the morning, exactly like it always did. You're sitting in your car in a parking lot, same kind of lot, maybe the same one, and the guy in the next spot glances over because you're just sitting there staring at nothing, and you wave. You're fine, but this time it's true, and the truth is quieter than you ever imagined $1 million would be. Because that's the whole secret they never sell you. You didn't get lucky, and you weren't special. You just stopped drifting. You found the gap, you built the machine, you sat still through every storm, and you let time do the one thing time does for free. The salary never changed the game. What changed was that you finally stopped waiting to arrive somewhere and started, quietly, on an ordinary Tuesday, building the somewhere yourself.